Just 3 games to go in our first season back in England's Premier Division, but can we mark our return to the Premier League in style by securing late European football? Hey guys, it's your boy JT and welcome back to another video where of course we're going to be going through that Leeds United versus Burnley fixture that is on the horizon. As always, if you do end up enjoying the video, then a like would always be appreciated. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into the meat of the action. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, James, you're crazy, man. Why are you still banging on about this European football malarkey? Why are you still believing in the dream? And I'll tell you exactly why. Because Tottenham Hotspur, the Tottenham Hotspur side we just dispatched of 3-1 at Ellen Road. The Tottenham Hotspur side who currently reside in 7th place. The Tottenham Hotspur side who hold the keys to Europe in their hand are just 6 points ahead of us with 3 absolutely mouth-watering ties to still go. It's all to play for. And I know it seems very, very unlikely, and of course it is. Of course there is just a 3% chance we make it into Europe. But as I say with everything in life, even if there's a 97% chance of failure, that 3% could always carve itself into an opportunity, and you have to be there to take it if that opportunity so does present itself. Tottenham still have Wolves to play, they still have Aston Villa to play, and they still have Leicester City to play. So all they need to do is lose 2 and draw 1, and we could be in there, baby. But whether that happens or not, it is imperative that we win our next 3 games and really pile the pressure on and just see where we can go. Because if we manage to get 59 points in our first season back in the Premier League, then that is staggering. Almost 60 points for a team that is newly promoted. That would be simply unheard of, simply unfathomable from what people were saying we could achieve at the beginning of the season. I was hearing people saying we're going to get relegated straight away. I was hearing people say, oh, BIELSA's sides always burn out in the second half of the season. They just can't hack it. Well, that's clearly not the case, is it? Because let me tell you something about Leeds United. Let me tell you something about Leeds United under Marcelo Bielsa this season. Everyone's saying, ooh, you're frail, you can't hack it against the big sides, your defence doesn't work, it doesn't hold up in these big games, James. Ooh, you're not going to be able to mix it with the big boys unless if you change your style up. Well, guess what? That's exactly what we did. We adapted our style a bit. We shored up our defence. We managed to still play the attacking, free-flowing, expansive football that we all know and love. But we also managed to tweak it in a way in which the man-to-man marking system was revised slightly so that we could deal with these sides that had more flair on the counter-attack, the sides that were more brutalistic in nature. And guess what? We managed to deal with them. Because let's look at our home record against the Big Six. Let's look at those Big Six sides, most of which, you know, did us up in the first half of the season. And what happened when we played them in the second half of the season? We beat Manchester City, we beat Tottenham Hotspur, we drew against Man United, we drew against Chelsea. Sure, we lost to Arsenal, although I feel like we should have beaten them in the first game anyway, but they don't really count as a top 6 side. In the second half of the season, we've been new, we've been reformed, we've been revised, and we've still got the energetic pressure, we've still got the exuberant playing style, but it's revised slightly in nature, so that we can deal with these other sides. And what we've shown is that we can definitely mix it with the big boys. And anyone that writes us off getting European football next year, you're deluded. Do you even watch football? Oh, how good does it feel to be a Leeds fan right now? Honestly, if you told me 2 years ago that I'd be sat in the Premier League right now, just 6 points off European football in 2 years, I would have slapped you in the face. I thought you were the local crackhead on some spice. Some geezer I found in Piccadilly Gardens off his nut round a block corner. But guess what? You were 100% right. That's what you were. You were right. Just like I was right, just like all of us fellow Leeds fans were right when everyone was writing us off. Everyone said second half of the season syndrome is coming. Everyone said Leeds are falling apart again. But did we fall apart? No. Did we fold? No. Did we revise, demise and conquer? Yes. That's exactly what we did, baby. But of course, now all eyes turn to tomorrow's upcoming clash at Turf Moor between Leeds United and Brexit FC, Burnley FC, Sean Dyche FC, Route 1 FC, relegation fodder FC. And I mean, what a team Burnley are. I mean, this year they've been about as inconsistent as pigeon shit on Trafalgar Square. I mean, one week they'll be beating up Wolves 4-0 and the next week getting slapped up by Steve Bruce's Newcastle. I mean, there is just no logic to the way they played this year. But then again, that's just typical Burnley. That's just typical of those sides around the bottom of the table. The sides that will just get around 40 points, be happy to survive, and just be happy to mill about in the Premier League. But that is not what Leeds United are. That's never what we were going to settle for as a club. That's why it was so imperative for English football that we got back into the Premier League, that Aston Villa got back into the Premier League, that Birmingham, one day will get back into the Premier League. These sides that really, they make the most of their opportunity in the Premier League. And Burnley, for me, are not one of those clubs. I mean, I got a lot of love for Burnley fans. I know quite a few of them. Very nice guys. But in terms of what they offer for the Premier League, they don't really offer a lot as a tangible asset. But that aside, let's look at the good things about Burnley. It's not all bad. You have to look at what Sean Dyche has done with a very limited squad, very limited assets at times. I mean, basically Leeds' best championship players. That's all they filled their squad with. I mean, every single year, our best performer would piss off to Burnley, isn't it? It was either Norwich or it was Burnley. They just swooped them all up, hoovered them all up. Charlie Taylor and Chris Wood. I mean, have they been crazily good for Burnley? I don't know. I mean, Taylor hasn't really set the world alight. Chris Wood has probably been their best performer this year. Probably one of their better performers the past couple of years, along with Vokes. So I guess you could say they were worthwhile additions, but I certainly wouldn't swap Chris Wood for Patrick Bamford, I'll tell you that much. Burnley have, of course, won 2 of their last 5 Premier League games, getting a 4-0 victory over Wolves and beating newly relegated Fulham, whilst getting humped by Man United, Newcastle and West Ham. Now, you wouldn't really have expected them to beat Newcastle or West Ham, but Man United, I mean, come on, surely anybody should be beating them lot. I mean, to quote the famous Mark Goldbridge, their defence at the moment, it's got about as much resistance as a poppadom catching a bowling ball. But no, in all seriousness, no, you wouldn't expect them to beat Man United. You wouldn't expect them to beat West Ham. You probably wouldn't expect them to beat Wolves, although they absolutely smashed them, gave them a 4-0 hiding. I mean, Jesus, who would have expected that one? But you would definitely expect them to give Newcastle a better run for their money, and you would expect them to beat newly relegated Fulham. So they're kind of par for the course at this part of the season, but do they have too much to fight for? For me, I don't really think they have anything to fight for. They're safe. They don't really have anything to prove in terms of building momentum towards next season, because all next season again for them is just survive, avoid relegation, get as close to that 40 points mark as humanly possible. Whereas Leeds, we want to kick on, we want to show some of our best players, like the likes of RAPHINHA, the likes of Calvin Phillips, that we are a worthwhile project for them to buy into. We want to prove to the fans, we want to prove to fans worldwide, new fans, that Leeds are an exciting project, a club verging on becoming one of England's superpower clubs. And in order to do that, we need to pick up results now as well. We need to go into the end of the season with a positive momentum, which we can carry into the beginning of last season. The same way after we won the league and the championship last year, we won our last 2 games of the season comprehensively. That 4-1 win over Luton, where we finally scored a corner. Tyler Roberts scored a corner, and Ben White scored one of the most sumptuous goals I've ever seen. Pervader even scored. Shackleton scoring some vital goals. It's important that we give some of the younger players in the squad a chance to blossom in these last few games and really build some positive momentum going into next season, where we can hopefully push for Europe if we don't steal it this year. Now, of course, I have untoward levels of confidence that we will dispatch of Burnley tomorrow. We've got RAPHINHA back, we've got Calvin Phillips back, we've got our mojo back, we've just smacked Tottenham Hotspur 3-1, played them off the park at times in that game. So if we could do that to them, we can most definitely do that to Burnley. What do you guys think? Do you think Patrick Bamford can do it? Do you think there is a shot of him managing to at least get himself in the top 3 goal scorers of the league? Or do you also think that Leeds can somehow, some way, sneak themselves into European football. As for tomorrow, I'm going to go through a quick rundown of my 1 to 11. At this point, it's pretty self-explanatory. You guys already know the team I'm going to go for. The team that Bielsa is most likely going to go for. In goal, you cannot look past the Frenchman, the main man, Meslier. The guy who catches balls down, the guy whose distribution is simply world class. And in terms of reflex saves, is one of the best in the business. In the back four, of course, I'm going to go at Ayling at right back, Alioski at left back, and a partnership too of Virgil van Strijk and Fernando Llorente. Diego Llorente, I'm a fraud. In the midfield, we are, of course, going to go with Calvin Filipino, the Yorkshire Pirlo, Filipiniesta, Filipiavi. I don't know any more I can use. Philip Sadam, Charlie Phillips, Philip Siago, Philip Serratti, Philip Cedinho. The list is endless. The guy's talent is endless. The guy's qualities are endless. The guy is just simply a cut above everyone else in this side except from RAPHINHA Belotti. Look, I love everyone in this team. I love them all. But those two are just a cut above. As for the midfield four, we are, of course, going to go on the left with Jack Harrison. What you cannot argue with is the guy's unbridled talent. The guy's unbridled hard work rate, passion, dedication to create something of himself, to work on every single facet and asset of his game. The guy has really developed as the season's gone on. He's developed a lot since last year, and last year he developed a hell of a lot since the year before. The guy is constantly improving. Not many people in the league have got any more clear-cut chances created than him. He is such an underrated asset when he is on form, and he is on fire, and he is really coming into a positive momentum of form as of late. So I would put him on the left. And speaking of coming into a positive momentum of form, Mateusz Klich is one player who has just done that. One player who is looking like the Klich of old, looking like the Klich of yesteryear. But would I put him in the midfield too? I think it's so tough, unless if I put Dallas at left back over Alioski, I can't quite start him. I love him, but I can't quite start him. For me, Roberts has done too much to be displaced there. Roberts has to start in that midfield too for me, and you cannot look past Stuart Dallas. Stuart Dallas also has to start there for me. So for me, I do love Klich like a brother, and I do want him to play. However, I don't think I can pick him above those two unless if I put Dallas at left back and bring Klich in. But hey, I won't have any qualms if he plays Klich. I will not have any qualms at all. On the right wing, I don't even think you need me to say who we're going to play on the right wing. One of the most talented players in the league, a future Ballon d'Or winner. Head and shoulders our most talented player at the club, the most hard-working player at the club, the guy with the biggest winner's mentality I've ever seen in my lifetime play for Leeds United. It is, of course, Giancarlo Poveda. I mean, the guy is sumptuous, he's saucy, he's got a turn of a shoulder, he's got flair, he's got panache, he's got it all. But I was taking the piss. Of course, I am talking about RAPHINHA Belotti. I had you on strings for a second. I had you on ropes. I could see it in your eyes. But of course, no. RAPHINHA Belotti, for me, has to start on the right. I mean, wow. When you talk about generational players, this guy comes to mind. Tempo. And up top, it is, of course, going to be Patrick Bamford. Can he continue the goal scoring for me as showed of late? Of course, getting a goal against Tottenham Hotspur. Didn't get any goals in his past 5 performances before that. So can he end the season on a positive note for himself and for Leeds United in general? I certainly hope so. You certainly hope so. But what do you guys think? What are your guys' 1 to 11? Who do you think the key performance to look out for will be? I'd love to hear it all from you. Let me know in the comment section down below, and if not, let me know on my Twitter, my Instagram, or join the Discord and get involved in the conversation. But for now, guys, thank you ever so much for watching. I thank you all so much for turning up. But that is it. I'm gonna have to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, then a like would always be appreciated. And if you do enjoy the content, then maybe subscribe and you you won't miss any more upcoming content. But for now, guys, I will love you and leave you, and I will see you tomorrow with a live stream of the game. Make sure you don't miss it. Make sure I see every single one of your faces there. If you're a hero and you've made it to this point in the video, yeah, you're one of probably 0.0001% of you. So if you are that person, then I'd love to see it in the live stream tomorrow at 12 o'clock GMT. We're going to be there live and early, ready for the game, ready for the action, and I hope to see you all there. But for now, guys, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.